Okay.
So with the layer selected and the rotation, we already have the keyframe at 0. And then skipping it back, pull it out to be wherever you want it to begin. This one's a little bit more complex because there's two sides of it. So in fact, actually what I'm going to do, duplicate, so Command D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to, so they're on separate layers, mask out one side on one, and on the other, mask out the other side.
Do you have to press anything like mask or just going to
No,
the pen
just with the
tool?
pen. Yeah, if you have the layer selected. So with both of those, let's get the rotation up. This one, how far does it need to rotate? Like there, and this one, we can rotate in from the top. Next one. This is another one with two circles on it, so I'm going to do the same thing and duplicate it, and on one of them, mask that one, the other one. Do the same, and so now this one, you can rotate in from there, and this one. That one's on 2 for some reason. Okay, and then there's just this one on here. Cool, so we can just move that out. And this one only comes in the tiniest bit, so I'm only gonna go back like, well actually no, I won't. I'm gonna do that, so it's just like that. And now,
wow,
everything comes together. Oh, I just noticed that there's that in the corner of, is it circle 7? With all the circles selected, take the pick whip and parent it to the null. You can also do this in this drop down and like pick which object, but then yeah, the pick whip is just a bit simpler. And then now they're all parented to the null. If we take the null, go to align, to composition, and then center the null to composition, now all of the circles should be centered.
Okay.
I don't know if they are quite centered,
No.
but maybe because. But anyway, you can move the null wherever you want, or scale it, and everything will move together. Cool.
So we just make sure the center is, so that's all the circles going to move around.
Yeah, exactly. Let me try and sort of. I don't know why this is not quite in the center. Maybe I think it's because the anchor point of the null isn't in the center of the null object. Shouldn't make a difference, but so if we, so I'm changing the anchor point of the null so that the crosshairs are in the center.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
funny
now,
that it doesn't show the center point, but I had that problem before, I remember this.
And so if you want to move the null not in relation to them, you're going to have to unparent them. And let's see how close we are to the center now. There we go, bang on. So now if we pair them all again, take the null, align it to center, and now boom, that is centered. Cool, and then so all of these, you can like, so a lot of the shortcuts are really important in After Effects to like get the right things. So you have like R, like if you have the layer selected, R is rotation, S is scale, P is position, T is transparency or opacity, and A is anchor point. And those are the only like important ones you really need to know.
So A anchor point, P position, T time, no, T transform, opacity at the T, R rotation, and that was something
P
else.
for position.
Oh, P for position.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so now if we like drag the, I'm using like the PC shortcuts as well, like, which is not
Having it.
helpful.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so you see, and because they're all perfect circles, they're all going to rotate on their axis perfectly. So what I would do here, so like say, just pick like a time, say like 2 seconds or something. And we're going to take all the circles, hit R to get up the rotation, and then, take that back to 0. So at 0 is like where they're meant to land, right? Like this is their final position?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So we'll set the rotation and set a keyframe.
Like a reverse.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So like if you have something where you want it to be, set the keyframe first, and then go back and say like where you want it to be. Zoom out just a little bit. So like for this one, you're gonna say it's there, and then it will come into. Is that where you want it to land? Like that? Or that one was meant to be more like, I'm just remembering from your drawing, but it was sort of more like that, right?
That one is the 6th. I think the circles are bigger than they're supposed to be. Like not the whole circle. Like the poster is not in the.
Okay,
in
cool.
the frame.
So then in the null we can just change the scale. And then you can like mess around with that where you want it to be. Yeah, and then like, let's make a new solid that's white. And that making a new solid will set it to your composition.
To the background, or?
Yeah, well that's the color.
Yes.
And then it will set the dimensions to whatever the composition dimensions are. But then we can move that over. Like, where does it need to be? Sort of like here or something?
It actually has to be, yeah. We can put the poster. I think I have an empty poster on it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there. And it's in the beginning.
So where do you want the poster to be?
Somewhere in like, I think I have to make like a background, because obviously it can't fill out the whole screen because of the shape. So it just like has a little bit of margin, and then maybe this much margin like this, and in the middle.
So I don't quite follow. Like, what is your, like, how do you want it laid out on screen?